Yes. Okay. Well, welcome to the EDU 665. I'll start sharing my screen again. There we go. Okay. So here is, you should be able to see this now. This is Brightspace. So Brightspace is the learning management system for the School of Education for Notre Dame of Maryland University. Um, let me pin, I'll go ahead and pin my name on here. So, let me see where it is. Uh, there we go. Now we can see it. So just a little bit, if you log in brightspace.ndm.edu, you should see my tile. And I know this is not both yours, both of our students that are joining us virtually in real time tonight. It's not their first class, so I'm sure they've used Brightspace before. So I'm just going to go just quickly over the different like little functions that we'll be using during the class. So if you click on the house, anytime you click on the house, it'll take you to the main dashboard for entire Brightspace. You'll pick the tile that has, it should be the only thing that you see that says Dig Game Base, and someplace in there will be 665, which is my number. I always suggest clicking on this content button right here, and what it does is it creates an interface that's on the left side is a big table of contents, on the right side is the content. So right now you should see a welcome menu. You should see module 1. You'll see that there's a bunch of modules right now that are with the eyes. The scratched out means that it's invisible to the students. So right now you should see module 1. But I'm going to go back up to here and just click on this. I'm just going to start with Brightspace tonight. It's just the easiest thing to do. So if you start at welcome, welcome includes just the course description. Here's the book. So I'll show you my book real quick. The copy, it's right there. It's Game On. Yes, I wrote it. It's in fact a lot of the contents from the core is based on the course, so it's aligned. I always wanted to have a resource that wasn't going to cost my students an arm and a leg, and something that if they wanted to use after the course is over, they could take and apply it. So it's not only does it have a lot of technology games in it that learning games that you might find useful, but it also has ways to try and find games that would be useful for your instructional the context of learning, whether your grade, your subject, you'll be able to find them. It should be on sale through Amazon. You should be able to get through the school bookstore. It's also on sale through Solution Tree, which is the publisher. You're more welcome to get that. My suggestion is get it used, get it cheap as you can find it. I have no problem with that. I'm done making money off the book. So, just a little bit about myself. So my name is Ryan Schaff. I'm Associate Professor of Educational Technology in the School of Education. I've been here since 2010. Before that, I was a K through 12 teacher in Howard County. So it's just a little bit about me. I'll give you a little bit more also. There's a little section here on course introductions. I do ask that you complete that in the next day or two. Again, nothing. It's not. It doesn't have to be like your entire biography. Your biography, but just a little something that you're comfortable in sharing with us. So this way we can start to get to know you and get used to you and your information. I also use it as a method of roster verification. This way I can tell that you're participating in the course. I do have a help form in here if you need to ask a question, a general question that's good for the entire course. You're more than willing to ask it. If not, if it's like privileged or if it's sensitive information, just email me. It's the best way to get a hold of me. And if you need a copy of the syllabus, which I'll go over in a few minutes, you can always download an electronic version of it, and that is in the welcome section. Okay. So let me go ahead, just take a break from Brightspace. I went introduction to me. Go ahead. Once you go, we'll do about you in just a second. I did the at a glance, talked about the help form. Okay, so course description. This course provides an overview of the learning theories, research-based practices, and classroom application models involved with incorporating educational games and simulations into a learning environment. So the use of current emerging technologies found in the gaming industry will be explored and documented for classroom use. This course brings together cultural, business, government, and technical perspectives on developing and integrating electronic game techniques and technologies to enhance and enrich learning. So learning will develop an so learners will develop an understanding of the current trends, both technical and sociological, in computer, console, and mobile gaming, and what can be learned and applied from the world of gaming to positively affect the teaching, learning, and assessment processes. So you'll also go through authentic creative process when you explore the game design process. So at a glance, so there's going to, in Brightspace, there's going to be 6 instructional modules. Each instructional module has a module plan that comes with presentations and videos and resources and other readings. There are 7 assignments total, and each assignment has a rubric. The way I've crafted this course is to provide a lot of learner choice and agency. What I pride myself on with this course is that I have many different teachers from different perspectives, teaching different grades, different subjects. Some of them are principals. Some people are outside of like a traditional K through 12 learning environment. So I try and make it malleable for your needs. So you can bring absolutely your professional responsibilities and where you work into consideration when you do the assignments. So they're very open-ended assignments that you're able to craft to your specific needs. So the course is an online synchronous learning with frequent announcements. So asynchronous meaning that we don't have to meet at a specific time or place. As I said before, tonight was voluntary. I'm recording it in case you weren't able to attend. So this way you can see it later on. I will probably have another one of these at the midpoint of the course. So this way I can kind of go over the final big projects of the course. But we're only going to be doing this 2 voluntary online sessions. All the rest of them are done asynchronously, meaning we're not going to have to meet at a specific time and a specific place, either face-to-face or online. So what I do is I typically create and craft announcements. I release course announcements on either Sunday nights or Monday mornings. And that will run through, and the end of the week for my course is Sunday nights. So if you take a look at the syllabus, which I'll show you in a minute, it usually starts on a Monday and runs till Sunday, probably except for the very last week since it's starting on I think they've been typically ending them on Saturday nights. So the general course topics and themes. So we're going to take a look at the International Society for Technology and Education. They produce the ISTE standards for students and educators. Those are standards that are used when integrating technology into instructional contexts. We'll take a little bit of a look at gaming today. So we start with the really big macro look at, gaming in today. The benefits of playing game-based learning. We start with the learning theories. We take a look at what they say about playing, about game-based learning. Finding good learning games, integrating games into instruction. We'll also go into a little bit of multimedia design where I'll get you to do some storyboarding, some multimedia design, and of course we'll do some online discussion and collaboration. Okay. So at a glance, I just want to show this. So I said before, there's 6 modules. And the very first one I just released today, it's called Digital Games in the Classroom. So it starts with just introducing everybody to digital games in learning contexts. So it gives you a little bit of information about this. So a lot of the readings are from the book. However, I also pull from other sources, and I'll put those other sources. They'll be up in Brightspace for you to access. You don't have to go and buy anything else besides the book. Okay, so the general components of a module. And I'll go show this to you in a second. Right now, it's probably easier just to actually see them. So I'm going to come over here into module 1 right now. And this is the module I just opened today. As you can see, it says module 1, digital games in the classroom. So each module starts off with an objective and a brief little introduction. And every single module has this, which is a module plan. If you click on it, It basically starts from 1 to 4. It tells you exactly what you're going to be doing throughout the process. It tells you what chapters to read in the book, what assignments that you're going to be doing, what discussions you'll be holding. Anytime you want to go back, you could always use these breadcrumbs. They call them breadcrumbs to go back in the pathway of the course. So every single one of these modules that you'll see has a module plan. Every single module has one of these, which is a module, module presentation. If you click on it, it will take you to, I post all of my presentations online for easy access. So you'll go through and you'll listen to this, and it's they average anywhere from,
When you're launching a new
sorry,
product with a tight deadline, 2 weeks.
they average anywhere
Grandma's
from
phone
like
suggestion?
5 to, I think this
This
one's
session,
20
Burrs
minutes.
will examine
So it's not like you're going to sit down and watch 3 minutes, 3 hours of video. I wouldn't do that to anybody. But there are going to be some, the videos are anywhere from like, they usually on average between 10 and 20 minutes. Okay. If you can't stand my nasally, nasty voice, yes, I admit my voice is terrible. You can, and you're just a little tired of hearing about it. You can also, I have transcripts and I also have printable PDFs of everything I say. So again, if you need a little break from the sound of this, I totally understand. You just basically have to just go through and read. You can read each section here and it'll go over all the information for you. Okay. As you keep on scrolling down, you'll see suggested readings. And here are each module has a discussion forum. So the discussion forums have a prompt and then asks you to participate by a certain date. So, and it's not just a one-way conversation that you just post to me and you're done. I also ask you to select 2 of your colleagues' posts to reply to. So this way it's a little more of a conversation. So after, and again, don't just jump right to the discussion forum and start doing it right away. Experience the entire module, and as you're getting close to being done, as you experience the readings, as you experience the resources, then you're in good enough shape to start the discussion forum. Then you may move on to also the assignment. And also throughout the entire course, there are also these assignments. So this is assignment number 1. Although I open it up for module 1, this assignment is game diary. It's actually not due until close to the end of the course because there's multiple entries that are going to go on in here. I'll talk a little bit more about this, but to submit to go into here and to actually reply to a discussion post, you just click on the link here. And you can see that the information, the prompt is still there. You click on start a new thread, and then you can go ahead and add your thread here. If you want to hit reply after somebody hits a thread, you can just click on their thread and then hit reply, and that's where the replies will show up. And I can see this all, not just here, but it also populates my grade book. So I can actually see all of everything that you've talked about in your in the discussion forums. It's really nice because it makes it contextual. If you have to turn an assignment in, you just click on where you'll find assignment 1. There's assignment 1 will be here. You'll come up here, you just and again all the directions are here. There's going to be a spot for you to submit it here. I can't demonstrate this because I'm not a student. I'm in kind of instructor view. But if you click on this, you'll also see that there's more resources too. I try and put a lot of resources in here. So every major assignment has a rubric. I also provide exemplars like past examples of play diaries and all the other assignments. So this way, again, you can see where people have been successful in past assignments. Okay, just for a little bit of just kind of like a big assessment map for the course. So at a glance, there are 6 online discussions and 6 assignments. It sounds like it's a lot, but with each discussion, it's typically 1 a week, give or take. Sometimes a discussion might last 2 weeks. But a lot of these assignments, you typically will get multiple weeks to complete them. So it's not It's nothing crazy. The peer game proposal review at the very end, I think you get like 2 days to do it, but again, by then you're pretty much done all the assignments. You're just really revising content. So a 2-day window to do a quick review is not bad at all. Let me just stop sharing for a second, see if does anybody have any questions so far about anything I've gone over. I'm going to go over the assignments a little bit more. Yeah, I'll go over the assignments a little bit more, and I promise to keep on going through but I want to give people an opportunity to ask anything. If you think of any questions, just you can also, if you're shy and you want to just go in, and you can also go into the chat box too and just enter your questions as well. Robin, go ahead.
Yeah, I I don't think we're there yet, but when I was looking through the syllabus, do we have to upload anything into Chalk and Wire?
Good question. Not for so there's if you have chalk, so I don't force people to get chalk and wire for this course. I don't think there is, I have to check. I don't think there's anything I require right away. Does everybody have chalk and wire? Okay.
What is that?
Chalk and wire anthology portfolio. Yeah, the e-portfolio.
The e-portfolio?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be
Okay.
honest.
Not everyone has to have it. And
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll give you a little bit of information about the e-portfolio afterwards. It's in so there is one in 665. I think I did put an assignment up. And if I typically in 556, if you have 556, they go through the e-portfolio training. And it talks about that. So if you haven't heard about it, you may not have to have it, but most student programs use the portfolio. So just
Okay.
but in my course, let me see if I may have added something. Anyway, you know what? Good question. I'll get back to you about it. So this way, I think I may have added one thing up in the portfolio, but it may have been for my digital leadership program. So I don't think it's required of you to do it. So sorry about that. I wanted to answer it as with a yes or no as best as I could. I'm pretty sure it's for one program has to do it, and yours isn't the program. So
that's fine.
Mhm.
I've had to use it for other classes. So
Yep. And yeah, and once you have it, it's not like you're gonna pay for it again. It's just I could I could say, hey, everybody turn it to ePortfolio, but for my data needs, and for that assignment, I don't think you have to do it unless you're in the digital leadership program, which you're not. So yep, you're in leadership for teaching, cultural proficiency, so you wouldn't need it. So, and Brian, if you have any questions about the e-portfolio, I'm happy to send that your way. I just don't know if you need it or not. So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, so far I haven't heard anything about it. Like, this is like my 5th class.
hmm
So,
I have a feeling it's because, again, I'm Dr. Savick. I might call her Stephanie. I'm sorry. Dr. Savick, I think, is in the midst of getting her assignments up in the e-portfolio. So it might be in the future that she'll ask you to put it up there.
okay.
But for now, no. And I think in the future, she's not going to use AMI assessments for the e-portfolio. So I think you'll be pretty safe and not having to worry about this course for it. Okay. Sorry, I tried to give a simple answer and I couldn't. So I apologize for that. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go through the assignments one by one. Just understand this is that you're probably going to have 5,000 questions with it, and that's fine. You're more than welcome to ask me, but I might just say, you know what, it's probably best when we get closer to the actual assignment. If you know because I give a lot of instructions, I give a lot of guidance, and right now, it's kind of feel like drinking water out of a garden hose. It's just really, or maybe even a fire hose right now. It's just a lot of information coming at you at once. It might just be easier just to wait, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. It may just confuse you a little bit. So just bear with me. So anyway, so let me see. I am still sharing. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so assignment 1, which I just released today inside of module 1, is a play diary. So the play diary will help you chronicle your findings while simultaneously documenting new resources for classroom use. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to actually go out and find 10 digital games that are learning games. Or I don't even make them into, they don't have to be the traditional learning games like I go to ABC or something like that and play a math game or something like that. They don't traditionally have to be that, but I always suggest people find something that's in their professional sphere of influence. So if you're a math teacher, you may want to find some math games. If you're in a different, if you're in a different subject area or grade level, whatever, I suggest trying to find games that might help you. But is it required? No. You can play really pretty much any game for your game diary. So what you're going to do is you're going to play the game. Now, please don't just summarize the game or, just give me like a quick, like, what's the game about? I want to hear about your experiences playing the game. Okay. It's like kind of like explaining a YouTube clip, it's best that you actually watch the clip. So this way you experience it just like a game. I want you to play it. So this way you can experience it from a gamer's point of view. So what you're going to do is you're going to provide the preliminary elements like what's the game title, what's the genre of the game, what's the platform you're playing it on. Like a lot of people play it on like browser-based like games, which are you just play them on the web. You find a web page, you'll play with them, or you might if you have a Xbox 360 or something like that, or a console, or maybe you're using it on your mobile device or an iPad or something like that. That's absolutely fine. That would be the platform. Who published it? What's the release date? Maybe you can find that information. Maybe you can't. It's not a big deal if you can't. Just what information can you give me? What's the game summary? Like detail, what's the gameplay like? What's the design like? What's the objective of the game? What's the storyline about? Then you put on your kind of like reflective analysis hat. Is there any educational value to it? Is it there? What content areas does it explore? What are some potential objectives and skills that are integrated into the game, if any? You may end up finding a dud of a game, and that's absolutely fine. Ideas on how to implement this game in a learning environment. Do you have any ideas on how you would use this for learning? So there's going to be a minimum of 10. So 10 of these entries for your diary. Sometimes people ask me, hey, can I use one game but give you 3 diary entries? Rarely I'll have somebody ask me, like if they pick like a really big game like Minecraft that they want to play or use with their students, I'll typically maybe decrease it to 1, but I really want you to try and do 10 entries with 10 different games. So you're going to do 10 of these. Now, you can do it on Microsoft Word, you can use Google Slides, you can use PowerPoint. However you want to package your diary is really up to you. But there is a minimum of 10 entries. So this is due, I think, at the very beginning of May. I think it's technically May 5th. So you have a while to work on this. Although I'm introducing it in this module, I want to give you just about the entire course, almost the entire, it probably ends up being like 7 weeks to start doing your game diary. So if you can average maybe doing 1 game diary a week, that's a pretty good average. You should be done by the time it's due. Okay. Any questions on the game diary number 1?
So we're finding these games on our own, right?
And the book helps.
The book
So the
helps.
book,
Okay.
yeah, so Game On, in fact, an entire chapter is here it is provides strategies and the resources to actually find games. Let me give you the exact chapter.
And
Number
we kind of
4,
need to
chapter
play it
4.
too.
What was
Okay,
that?
chapter 4.
Yeah. Chapter 4
Okay.
tells you like the types of games, but also how to find them.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Thanks.
No problem.
Can they
Go ahead.
can they be games that are like embedded in code.org's curriculum?
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing I ask, Robin, is just make sure to you variety's the spice of life. Don't just code.org, absolutely do it. I love their games. They're fantastic. Just if you're going to do a coding one, then go try and find something else too. So that way you're
Okay.
diversify your diary entries. But
Would I
absolutely,
be able to use games that my students have coded, if I played them?
God, I love that. Really love that
Teach
a lot.
I teach computer science,
Oh,
so that
I'm sure you'll find some awesome stuff. Um, I would say you could do one or two of them. Yeah, but
okay.
again, diversify your
Yeah.
diary experiences. But yeah, why not?
And I mean,
Just make
and
sure
I'd
they.
cite him,
What was
so
that?
that you would, I I would I would cite him so that he
Oh,
would, get
oh,
credit for the
absolutely.
game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's if it's not online and available for me to find, then just also you'll have to kind of summarize it maybe a little bit
Okay.
more in depth, just so this way I know exactly what's going on. But
Okay.
because a lot of times I'll find a game, and if it's a game that you really like, I'll actually kind of start to keep a track of that game. So this way I can actually start to, I'm trying to develop a better database of really good learning games. So if it's posted online, that's great. If not, no big deal. Just kind of summarize what the game is about then. Yep. But no problem. Absolutely. Any other questions on the game diary? Awesome. Awesome. And Robin, if you could think of any other really good games outside, I do know about the ones at code.org, and I know about a lot about Scratch and other games that are out there. But if
Coding
there's like
Bat is a good one.
what was it?
Coding Bat.
Yeah, things like that, find them. And if you don't even want to put them on your diary, send them my way because I'm
Okay.
starting to write a book on using like games for coding. I'm actually starting to collect a bunch of resources on it. If you find something that you think is just a treasure, send it my way. Even
Okay.
if you're not going to write about it, just for future, just to share it with everybody else. So,
Okay.
okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh. Okay, let me keep going through the other activities. So now it's about application. So let's say, for instance, now, um, uh, what I do is again, this also is aligned with chapter 5 in the book. But what I ask you to do is select 5 digital games that you have evaluated as having the potential for student learning. So they don't have to be a part of your game diary, but you may have found 5 games that you absolutely love from your game diary experiences. That's absolutely fine to use it in the lesson sparks. But what I want you to do is kind of plan some instruction around it. I'm not saying this is not a full-blown lesson plan. It has a lot of the elements of a lesson plan, but it's more of like a component. I call them lesson sparks. They're kind of like you found a tool, you found a resource. How are you going to integrate it, and how are you going to put it into your instructional plan? So it's like a segment of a lesson plan. So that's a part of module 2. And again, it gives you a lot of as you go through, it gives you like a template to complete, it gives you advice and suggestions where to find things. And a lot of people ask me, can I use something from the game diary that I found in the game diary? Can I use it in the lesson sparks? I say absolutely you can. So just want to make that crystal clear. You can use stuff that you find for the diary in your lesson sparks. Two birds, one stone. Okay. The next one is a nonlinear PowerPoint. So, Rob, you might like this. It's again programming, but a very rudimentary program, and I get it. But it's what you do is PowerPoint. Of course, we're used to it being very linear from slide 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. But you can absolutely use it as nonlinear and also branching. We call it branching. You can absolutely develop very simple and rudimentary games by hyperlinking or using very rudimentary functions and some just a little bit of linking and stuff like that to actually build simple games. So you're going to develop and design a very simple. I'm sorry, I would keep on saying simple, but I'm trying not to make it sound. It doesn't have to be super complicated or over programmed or anything. It's just a nonlinear PowerPoint game that you can share with your students. I usually get the most rave from this because it's so customizable. So if you're teaching about the water cycle, you can build a water cycle game. If you're teaching about what is it? Quadratic equations. You can build a game on quadratic equations. If you're, if you read a book, let's say for instance, what's the book that I was just oh my goodness. Oh, Tuck Everlasting. My son really wanted to watch Tuck Everlasting. If you wanted to create a game based on that book, you can. And again, computer science, this is an easy connection to. So you're going to develop something for a nonlinear PowerPoint game. And it doesn't have to be super complex. And the nice thing is, when you start module 3, which is based on these PowerPoint games, I have a lot of examples. So I collect a lot of examples of people's games that I ask permission to present. Okay. Okay, so assignment 4 and 5 are, one of the big things I say about higher order thinking is applying, creating, designing. I love to build things. So you're actually going to conceptualize your own video game. Now you're not going to have to program and construct it, although I'm sure that Robin could probably do it for you. What you're going to do is you're going to conceptualize your own digital game. But instead of, again, you're going to come up with a premise, you're going to come up with some ideas, you're going to do some storyboards. Like we know about comic books and like we know about the movies, storyboarding is a process for kind of coming up a rough draft for ideas. So as you get closer to that, you're going to create a storyboard for this game that you might think of. And also aligned with that, not only are you going to create a storyboard, but you're also going to come up with a game trailer. I'm going to ask you to create a 30-second to 2-minute game trailer that's going to advertise your future game. So this way it'll convince people to purchase your game when it gets released. You can build it with any multimedia thing that you want. If you want to do iMovie or all the other things, heck, there's so much AI out there right now. It's going to be a lot of fun because now you can produce images that are really tailored and based on your game ideas using just AI prompts if you want to. And the nice thing is that wouldn't be cheating. That would just be using tools that are out there for free that you can actually use for the creative process. So, and then assignment 6, the last one is peer reviewing. So we're actually going to peer review our storyboard and our trailer to make it, to kind of refine it before we submit the final project. So in the syllabus, which I didn't go through the syllabus word for word, I'll go in a second. I want to show you this chart. This chart is probably one of the easiest things I could show you for keeping track of all the submission dates and due dates for all that stuff. So you'll notice that module 1's kind of listed, module 1 discussion forums listed twice. Is because I asked you to put an initial post up first, and then finally the final responses, the replies are due as well. So I kind of have 2 stages for each forum. It's when you put your initial response up and when you also reply to everyone's posts. So if you can look at that now, there's no due date in the system that says 3/21, hey, you're late, you're late, you're late. But there is a date up in the system that I'll say, hey, your module 1 discussion forum is due on the 24th. And as you go through, you'll see the lesson sparks, that's assignment 2. You'll see the PowerPoint game, that's assignment 3. And assignment 4 or 5, you're not turning those into almost the end of the, actually it's the end of the course, because you're going to refine these before you submit them in. The game diaries here. So there's quite a bit to do, but it's very manageable. And since you'll be getting lots of week by week announcements, it's going to keep you organized. I've taught this course quite a bit, and for the most part, it's fairly organized. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm going to go through the syllabus. It's typically I start with the syllabus. Tonight, I guess I'm ending with it. So I guess it's just It's just Murphy's Law tonight, I guess. So let me go ahead and hit share, and we'll be done soon.
Because people don't think that they're
Actually, like the way you did it without the syllabus, because sometimes when teachers just go over the syllabus the whole time, it's like a snooze fest. So yours is
Yeah.
pretty good.
And this way, I'm just going to give you the just the highlights. So it's not going to go
Okay.
through everything. I trust that you can read a syllabus.
Yeah.
And absolutely, but it's definitely going to be there. And I will say this is that I do ask that you read it in the future, because a lot of times I'll be like, there'll be questions like, oh, that's actually in the syllabus, or oh, that's in the module and stuff like that. So just absolutely fine. I'll give you the highlights, but Brian, I can't stand when people just read to me a document I can read for myself. I totally get where you're coming from. Okay, so for the syllabus, for one last moment. So, if you need to get a hold of me, there's my email address, there's my cell phone number. Honestly, I'm probably gonna get back to you quicker if you email me. That's not because I'm ignoring you or being mean. It's just because with my cell, I might be out and about or driving. A lot of times I won't answer my cell because of just safety or just not being around. If you email me, I'll get back to you that day. Okay, unless it's something wild like on a Sunday and I'm just spending, just out and about or doing something, I'll usually get back to you easily within 24 hours. But if it's some sort of emergency, something happened, you're more than welcome to contact me over my cell phone, no problem. I give you my office phone number, but they're switching over to Teams at my university, and I don't have a phone in my office anymore. So I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. Okay, so we started today. We're going to go until May 11th. Okay. Again, you can see Game On is the book. Please make sure you get a hold of that as soon as you can. I don't care if it's paperback. I don't care if it's digital. It doesn't matter to me either way. I won't bore you to deal. You can read learning objectives if you want to, methods of instruction. Talked about this being asynchronous. I will have two virtual sessions that are voluntary. I will record them. If you can't make it, don't feel like you're going to be left out. I will absolutely share the recording with you later on. Okay, course structure. Oh, if you are turning in an assignment, try and name it to where it includes part of your name and also the assignment name. So, here's my example. If I was turning something in, it would be Schaff storyboard. Just do that so this way I can keep track of it digitally. Because what'll happen is if I have to give something back to you, I typically will put comments, your name, and then storyboard. That means I already know that I've graded and checked it over. Attendance. I know you're like, well, this is an online class. How the heck can you take attendance? I don't take attendance. I ask you just to be present. A lot of times with online classes, my students will kind of fall off the face of the earth for a week or two. Don't do that. If there's some sort of emergency or something happens, please just reach out to me. I totally understand. I can adjust things, but please don't fall off the face of the earth. Because what I'll do is I'll email somebody, hey, something's up, or what's going on, and I'll hear nothing back for weeks. And what'll happen is the last week of class, they'll say, hey, I'm back, blah, blah. That's not how things work. So please just make sure to be present. If you have questions, please just let me know. I do provide announcements every week, sometimes twice a week, but it's usually once a week. I saw the hand go up. Just give me 1 second. Here, let me stop sharing. Go ahead. What's your question?
Hello. I was wondering, is there like a requirement for the length of the discussions, like a word limit, minimum, or something like that?
No, just read the prompt carefully and make sure to, if you're using content, cite it. If
Okay.
obviously, if it's a very if you're answering me in a pair, it's not very substantive. You'll see me comment on that. But I'm not saying it has to be 500 or 600 words. Quality over quantity. That's
Okay.
my bet. That's my philosophy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. But good, very good question. Good point. Let's see. Let me keep going. Sharing screen. Okay. So for participation, please make sure you're just staying as part of the course. And if there's some sort of emergency, something happens, just let me know. I do accept late work up to a week late. It's up to 7 days late, but it will be at a reduced score. Here's the grade scale. Please understand it's a graduate level, so different grade scale. There's the breakdown, and here's the schedule. So this is usually what I suggest students kind of go by to keep track of everything, because it even has when things are due. And of course, if you don't like that, if that's too much content on one screen, you can always go to here. You can always go to this chart. There's a little bit more description on the chat on the assignments, but again, as you go through the modules, you're going to get a lot more explanation on them on all the chapters. I will say that on certain instances, I'm going to allow you to use AI. We don't do research papers in here, but for your discussion forums, I want them all from you. Okay. You can absolutely use AI techniques and resources with storyboarding in your game trailer. Absolutely, you can do that. But when it comes to planning, if you want to do some, grammar check using Grammarly and stuff, that's fine. But when it comes to discussion forums, try to keep that AI off, as in, I want you to answer it to the best of your abilities for academic writing. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.